Welcome to ProjectME, the podcast. I'm your host, Tiffany Carter, the founder of ProjectME, multimillionaire entrepreneur, former TV newscaster, money-making expert, female empowerment speaker, and self-proclaimed office supply addict. My mission is to take the mystery out of making big money. Every week on ProjectME, the podcast, I'll share success tips, strategies, and stories from other entrepreneurs, experts, and millionaires, showing you exactly how you can achieve your most exceptional life. Now let's get to it. Exciting announcement for all of my listeners. I've officially opened my exclusive group, the ProjectME Passive Income Posse, to the public. This group is by application only, so we can keep the group high vibe and spend our time, energy, and expertise only helping those of you who truly want massive success and impact. You get live weekly trainings from me, special guest coaches, and direct access to me and my business partner for all of your questions. To learn more and apply, go to projectmewithtiffany.com, click on Work With Me, and select ProjectME Posse. And of course, any questions, feel free to DM me at ProjectMeWithTiffany. Welcome to ProjectME with Tiffany Carter, the podcast and posse. I'm your host, Tiffany, and today we're going to get your mindset thinking in a whole new way, like mind-blowing stuff here. First, I need to tell you a story. So for the first 5 years of my business, so my first business that I've now had 12 years now, and just for those of you who are new to the show or new to me, that business is a digital marketing agency that focuses on helping pharmaceutical, medical, and supplement companies. We also do help other types of companies as well with their social media ads, social media platform in general, email marketing, visual, digital branding, all things digital. And so that's the one I've had for 12 years. That's the one I left corporate America to start, grow, build, all the things. For the first 5 years, I did make, by most people's standards, and probably many of you listening, great money. Not even good money, but great money. Obviously, I didn't all of a sudden come out of the gate making great money. It takes some time, but it didn't take that long. And here's the thing. If you're not growing in business, you're heading to failure. And I'm not saying that to be some like hardcore, pushy person and you better always be growing, something like that. I hate when people talk like that. But in business, it's true. If you're stagnant, unless of course it's in a down economy and you've remained stagnant in a down economy, that's actually a good thing, right? If your competitors have tanked, or even if you've gone down, but you've not gone down nearly as much as other people, that can be a win as well. But aside from those times, if you're not consistently growing, it's not a good sign, and I like to refer to Shark Tank because I know it's a show all of you have seen. And let me tell you something, you show up on Shark Tank, I don't care what kind of business you have and how long it's been and how great the product is. If you don't show consistent growth year over year, they're not investing in it. I was stagnant. I had a financial ceiling. I kept hitting. The max was like 350, maybe 400 max. And that's the 400 stretching it. It was really 350. And you guys are going, some of you, I'm sure, are rolling your eyes like, oh, that must be nice. But we're talking, a business here. This isn't a side hustle. This is a legit business. Like I had people working for me, and revenue wise, you have to understand in a actual business, that's not that much money. With expenses and if you're really trying to grow something. And the point is that it was stuck. You can be stuck at $1,000 a month. You can be stuck at $5. You can be stuck at $10 million a month. Stuck is stuck is stuck. And I could not figure out what in the hell the problem was, because all the clients were happy. Well, aside from some crazy ones, but all the clients were, happy. I knew what kind of service we were delivering. I knew it was in high need. I already was someone who was well known and good at sales, although I had to do some finessing when I had to sell for my own company versus someone else, because that's a total mind fuck and a mindset shift that's needed there. I couldn't figure it out. And I thought, well, I need to work harder. So I worked harder. I frantically Googled everything. I started buying books on things. I really couldn't figure it out and nothing worked. Finally, I decided to ask for help. That's how I used to be. I was so stubborn in asking for help or guidance, and let alone hiring it. I might have asked for guidance, maybe like free guidance, but paying for guidance, no. I really felt like I should just be doing it myself. Why should I spend money on guidance? I should figure it out myself. Shitting on myself. Thankfully, the universe intervened and had me come across my coach, who I didn't know was going to be my coach. But it's not like you come across a coach every day. At least back then you don't. And I knew that I needed his help and I needed to hire him. He's worth over $100 million. He's many, many decades my senior. And I knew it was someone I could learn from, and I felt safe with him and I trusted him, and I knew he's been where I've been. And so I was like, okay, I've got to do it, because I was so tired of where I was at. And then I started hating my business, because if something's not growing or developing, it starts getting stale and then it gets mold on it. And I could keep going with the analogy, but it's going to get gross. So I wanted to tell you that part. First, I had to get to a point where I was willing to get help. And then I had to acknowledge the fact I needed help. And then I had to go into action and actually hire help. I needed to hire a business coach to be able to see what I couldn't see, because I already had exhausted everything. That's 5 years into my business. I do not recommend waiting that long. That was one of the things, I know I've covered it in another episode, that I would have done differently starting over again. But this is how I learn, and I share all that knowledge with you guys. So hopefully you take this information from me and you can learn with ease, not the hard way like I learned most things. I sound like I'm like some 90-year-old woman giving like sage advice when I say that, like, don't do it my way. And I walked 500 miles to school in the snow, but it's true. I did do it the hard way. And one of the first things that he said to me that really stopped me in my tracks, after, we had a few conversations, a few meetings where, he could get an understanding of how I operated, my personality and my business. And he said, you're acting and operating like a manager, not a leader. And I was at a loss for words. And if you haven't noticed, that's rare. Unless it's in the morning and I'm not properly caffeinated, please don't talk to me. Really, don't talk to me. Don't breathe. Don't have music on. Don't have the TV on. Just don't talk to me. Who else is like that? And it really stopped me in my tracks. I didn't know what the difference was between a manager and a leader. I kind of thought they were the same. I thought maybe a leader was like a personality trait, or like something you saw on posters and like CEOs' offices, where it's like they show like the canoe and everyone's like rowing, and it's like we all work as a team to row for the best. Do you remember those? I think like Franklin Covey made those. So many old bosses of mine had those in their office. Hysterical. I'm trying to think of, there are people like, climbing a mountain. They were so cheesy, but people were so into that back then. And I had to ask him. I was embarrassed. A little bit, because I didn't want to seem like stupid or uneducated to this person who I greatly respected and admired. But you know what? All humility goes out the door if you really want someone to help you. So I said, I don't think I really understand the difference. I kind of thought like good managers were leaders. And I said, I don't really get it. And we started diving in, and he was pointing out how I was operating like a manager in my business. Meaning I was always putting out the fires. Everyone would come to me when everything was wrong, and I was the one who handled all the problems. I triple checked people's work. I kept saying things like, I have to babysit my contractors and babysit my employees. And that's one of the things that I hate about having a business is I hate, being the babysitter for all the people and basically tying the pretty bow on the end of tasks and projects and being a taskmaster and a project manager. He said, those are all things that managers do, not leaders. I'm like, okay. It had my attention, but I'm like, all right. And I'm like, well, what do leaders do? And he had me fly out and follow him around on one of his standard days. And it wasn't like, he was acting for me. It was one of his, it was probably like a Wednesday or something. On one of his standard days from morning, like early ass morning too, which I didn't like. I don't do early. Early ass morning till whenever he was done. And I was just to observe. And I was like, okay, I started really getting it. No one was coming to him with problems. There was one person who came to him, but it was like a higher level person who worked for him. And it was making him aware of a problem and sharing the solution to the problem with him. Like just basically keeping him in the loop. He wasn't frenzied doing all sorts of tasks. His inbox wasn't filled with tons of things that needed his approval. If anything, he actually seemed really relaxed, calm, cool, and collective. Now, of course, my brain went to, well, yeah, I'd be calm, cool, and collected too if I was worth $100 million, right? Because that's where my beliefs want to go. I want to automatically go to kind of some skepticism because I don't want to believe it could be this easy, because I have this deep belief that to be wildly successful is hard and a lot of work. And anyone who makes it look easy is full of shit or hiding something. That's how strong that buried belief is within me. And that was another thing we uncovered, by the way. I wasn't aware of that before working with him. And so we had dinner, and he's like, okay, so I want to hear like what you noticed. And I shared some things with him, and he said, so I'm glad you observed that. And I also shared like some of my thoughts that came up. I was like, I feel like you sent an email to everyone that day and told like none of them to contact you, and we worked through and talk through a lot of my, beliefs that being wildly successful and making great impact requires so much of you that you're, working 12, 14 hours a day and you're in the hustle and grind. All lies. But I believe those to be true at the time. I can still slip into that too sometimes. So I have to always do this work just as much as I tell you guys to do it. I still do it every single day. Being a leader is being a visionary. You're the person who is looking at the overall big picture, the overarching concept of your company, the mission of your company, the purpose of your company, the look and feel of your company. Your job really needs to be focused on the big future vision, not the day-to-day. And I know that there are quite a few of you listening right now going, well, I'm not at a point where I can hire all these people to do all these things. I understand that. And nor was I at a level to where I could hire high-level people like managers and directors and things like that. I had people working for me, but they were more task-oriented people. But that was my part that I thought was confusing. Because I said, well, yeah, you have all these great people working for you. So you have people who can do all those higher level tasks and they don't have to come to you. And he said that leadership quality and that leadership stance is a vibe, is an energy. Yes, you might not be at a point where you can hire people to do all the tasks. You might be a solopreneur and you're doing everything yourself. You can still operate like a leader and think like a leader. Leaders think big picture. Leaders think future forward. Leaders don't get caught in the weeds of mundane tasks. Leaders make decisions very quickly and move on. Leaders brush off failures. It might sting, but they keep going. And they focus on how it can be done better. Leaders hire out, whether it's contract or an employee, they hire out things that are sucking their time and energy, because the main point of a leader is to create the overall brand. Your products, your services, not in the day-to-day of answering emails and doing funnels and posting things on social media. Yes, in the beginning, until you have money coming in, or if you have unless you have a business loan or something like that, yeah, you're going to have to do a lot of it for yourself, but you can still think and act like a leader. A leader is someone who takes charge of their life, doesn't let your life control you. Like, for example, on the life side of it, I do not like any form of home construction. I love the finished product, but I don't like having strangers in my house. I don't like the mess. I don't like the noise. I don't like the disruption. I don't like any of that. And there's a leak, and now we have a hole in our ceiling downstairs. Now, when I first found out about it, I could have stayed in the crisis side of it. This is a pain in the ass. This sucks. I could have stayed in that. And that's pretty easy for me to go into, especially around stuff like that. But I flipped into what would a leader do? What would a leader of her life do? A leader of her life would move on, delegate, have Mike call the plumber, get a time, move on. Like, not put any more thought towards it or dwell on it, because that's not going to solve it. And that's exactly what I did. I just moved on from there. No, I wasn't happy about it. No, I'm not happy that they were here for God knows how many hours today, but my day didn't stop. I had a team meeting and I had to walk around my house with my laptop while turning the bathtub on and doing, I don't think you turn a bathtub on, but you know what I mean. Having to do all those things at the same time. That is what a leader does. They move on in spite of. They keep going in spite of. They don't get stuck in the feelings. They don't say, oh, I'm not motivated. They take charge and keep going. Just think about, like, if we're looking at military as an example. Think about and I don't know all the proper terms for the ranks, so forgive me, all of my military families who are listening. But imagine if your superior, okay, in the military, and there's something that happened and they are just absolutely caught in distress and worry and not very present for their people because they have something going on at home. They didn't sleep well. Something happened with something else in their life. You would have actual lives at stake. Let's use an example where I know more terms. So think about a surgeon. If a surgeon operated like a manager, not a leader, I would not want that surgeon operating on me. I want a leader operating on me, because a surgeon that operates like a manager is bogged down with stress, is focused on minutia, and isn't as clear-headed and isn't as creative of a thinker and isn't as focused. And one that's a leader takes charge, makes quick decisions, well thought out decisions, has a plan, acts on the plan, stays focused, and is paying attention to the most important things at that given time, period, end of story, and is not easily distracted. That's who I want operating on me. So think about that. That's a better analogy than the other one I went with, which was totally FMA from my ass. Who do you want operating on you? Who do you want to buy from? Do you want to buy from someone that's a leader, or do you want to buy from someone that's a manager? I want to buy from a leader. If you're in network marketing, do you want to sign up? If you're someone who's like looking to, make a business out of it. If you're in network marketing, do you want to sign up under someone who's a manager, or do you want to sign up under someone that's a leader? I would pick leader all day. Hiring a coach, any kind of a coach, a business coach, a life coach, mindset coach, fitness coach, health coach, whatever it is. Any kind of small business owner like that. Would you rather put your money with a leader or a manager? You're going to pick a leader every damn time because that's the best of the best. That's the person who is focused on the client first and foremost, and focused on the overall growth and vision of the company, which only benefits their ideal client because that they know that that's their main focus, and they're not distracted by all the other minutia in their personal life or in their professional life. That doesn't mean they're not affected by it, but a leader knows how to gently push that aside for now and focus on what's important and the task at hand, and then can deal with that other stuff later and has things in place to help support them. So ask yourself that question today. Am I operating? Have I been operating like a manager in my life and my business, or have I been operating like a leader? And the leader thing, it's like, how do I go from operating like a manager to a leader? I believe it's a feeling. You have to believe that you're worthy of being a leader first, because I had to get through that. I was like, a leader, little old me. Like, how am I a leader? I thought a leader was, someone who's the president of a country or the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar organization. I never thought of a leader as, little old me. And it's a feeling. I can be a leader too. We all can be leaders. That catchy phrase, like, we're all born leaders. I mean, I don't necessarily believe that's true, by the way. That's a whole nother subject. But if you know that you want to take charge of your life and you want to make your life, your business, and work a certain way, and you want to operate in an easy, relaxed manner, in a healthy, positive way for the greatest good of all, you want that, then you've got to embrace your inner leader. But first you have to find it. Well, no, that's second. First, you have to feel worthy of it. Second, you have to find it, and it's in there. It's that fiery part of you that's in there. And you're not going to feel that every day, but it's an embodiment feeling. The more decisions I make, the more things I focus on, the more times I say no. That no is very empowering. The more I say no to things that don't fit with my life, with my business, the more I'm a leader. I'm in my true integrity. I only say yes to things that I truly say yes to, that I mean, that add value to my life, add value to my business, add value to my clients, and I say no to everything else. That's something a leader does. So just start by asking yourself a question when things come up, or you're starting to focus on, different things at work, or you're getting overwhelmed, or you're feeling stuck, frustrated, discouraged. Ask yourself, what would a leader do? And then I want you to do that. Just try it on for size. It's going to feel weird at first. It's kind of like how it's going to feel for me when I put on a pair of jeans when we're out of quarantine. That's going to feel very weird for me. In fact, it probably won't feel good, because I have worn sweatpants every single fucking day for, like, God knows. How long has this gone on for now? 3 months? 2 months? I have no idea. It's not going to feel even comfortable, even though I'm going to like that I'm able to wear jeans. It's not going to feel comfortable, But after I wear them enough times, it's going to feel normal and I won't even notice. That's how it is in embodying this new leadership energy. And once you have that and you keep going with it, it becomes your natural state. I am a natural leader. You can bring something to me and I'll say, yes, no, that works. Very rarely am I confused. If I'm confused, it's usually because I'm not sleeping well or there's a self-care thing going on or, something with depression or whatever. But I operate like a leader 7 days a week in my personal life and in my professional life. So I want you guys to try that out because the reality is if you're listening to this show, I know that you're really meant to be a leader. People who don't have the leader in them are those people who are stuck in victim mode and they really don't have much of a willingness to get out and they'll be in there for the rest of their lives. And I know you guys all know people like that. They don't even have a desire to change. They might complain and then they don't do anything about it. Those people are not here on this earth as a purpose of being a leader, for example. That's what I meant when I was saying not everyone's meant to be a leader. They serve another great purpose on this earth, but it's not that. But if you are listening to this show and taking the action and you're listening still right now, you're meant to be a leader. So I want you to ask yourself that question on what would a leader do or what would a leader do differently? And then do it. I can't make you do that part, but I'm here to tell you how to go from being a manager to a leader, and that's how you do it. You guys, I really want to treat you to a cup of coffee of your choice, triple, grande, mocha, how crazy your drink is. I mean, I'm one of those people. I'm like half calf almond with 1 pump of mocha, no whip. I'm that person. That's probably because I worked at Starbucks when I was in high school and college. I want to treat you to a coffee of your choice. If you don't drink coffee, then some kind of a smoothie or fresh pressed juice. All you need to do is write a 5-star written iTunes review for the show and then DM me on Instagram at ProjectME with Tiffany. Let me know that you've left the review. Make sure you put your name or your Instagram handle in the damn review so I can cross-reference and know that it's you. And then once you DM me, I will be more than happy and excited and honored to treat you to a coffee drink of your choice or a smoothie of your choice, just to say thank you for taking the 90 seconds it takes to write a 5-star written review. Because I know a lot of you don't even know how to write a review, and then you're going to have to Google it, which is again, takes no time. But I just want to thank you for doing that. This is what helps support the show. So if you get a lot out of the show, a lot of value, this show is obviously free to you. And it's not like I'm asking for a donation here. I'm asking for a small donation of your time. And I'm even basically paying you for it. When was the last time you got paid $5 for 90 seconds of your time? I mean, give me a break. All right, go leave that iTunes review. I would so appreciate it if you want to show your gratitude to me. And just a heads up, my ProjectME group coaching membership is 75% full. So you want to get in there. It's the lowest price point to be coached by me. Live weekly training classes, direct access to me and other special guests for all of your Q&A. There's 60 plus hours of training classes in there that you also have access to. And it's only $100 a month. It's $150 for the first month and then $100 a month after that. You can cancel at any time on your own because I don't want anyone in that group who doesn't want to be there or isn't excited to be there. So you want to get in, you want to check it out. All you have to do is go to projectmewithtiffany.com/ProjectMe Posse. projectmewithtiffany.com/ProjectMe Posse. Make sure you go and get in. If it's been on your brain, go check it out, because then what's going to happen is we're going to be full and you're like, God, I should have joined. So there is no other lower price point to get access to me directly. So I highly recommend you check it out and see what the other Posse members have said. Wishing you great health, wealth, and worth as always. Love you guys. If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.